welfare is well catered for so that they do not fall off the wagon when the COVID-19 pandemic continues raging, and we need people on the front line in that regard. They've lost many people. They've lost doctors, they've lost nurses, you've lost so many people who are breadwinners to their families. So they're just saying, can we get some kind of compensation going to the families of those who died while they were executing their duties? If I'm a doctor and I, passed on, shouldn't my family get some kind of reprieve? And nurse, shouldn't the family of that person get some kind of reprieve or financial support from the central government in that regard? So that's what they are clamoring for, in away from the other issue of increasing their salaries and also risk allowance in that regard for the frontline workers. And we do call on to the government to ensure that all the issues pertaining to the health workers are resolved, because we can't have such a conversation in the middle of a raging pandemic. Away from that, we do have good news pertaining to the movie industry. Yes, Lukman Ali's Girl in a Yellow Jumper was nominated indeed, and it's going to be running on the #1 platform, streaming movie platform, that is Netflix in that regard. But what will it take for other local creatives to actually get to this stardom and also recognition on the international scene? What is actually dogging the movie industry from burgeoning, and where are we standing right now? Andrew Kagwa is joining me right now in studio to expand more on this conversation. A very good morning, Mr. Andrew Kagwa.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
It's cold. It's raining cats and dogs. Indeed. And probably boys and girls. but I'm okay.
Indeed. Yeah. So let's talk about the state of the movie industry in this country, Uganda. Where are we right now?
I think
since the inception of UCC,
better than where we were in 2014. I talk about 2014 because that's the year.
UCC had come earlier.
Yeah, they had come earlier, but that's the year I joined media. So at that time, I started following things in a different way. Because then I was on the front line, I was on people's movie sets, and I can say we are doing way much better than
and when you talk about 2014, 2013 with the resurgence or inception of Uganda Communications Commission, if you are them, I think Uganda's movie industry is too young, and maybe it started in the 1990s. But no, our first movie our first output came in 1893. That is more than 120 years ago. Our first movie.
Yeah, we've been making films for long. I mean, there are films like The Adopted Twins. There was another film that had, I think, Richard and Rita. I don't even remember what the title was. But we've had amazing films. And of course, when you look at the TV content, considering the fact that by 1993 we had original content like That's Life Mwatu, and later we got on Bibawo, and by 2000s we had the Chigenya Genya in Sitano. So we've been creating content. When it comes to use, when I say we are better from where we were in 2014, this has nothing to factor in UCC being around. I think we would still be better from where we were in 2014, with or without UCC. With or
without the same organization that birthed the Uganda Film Festival?
But we were making films before that festival existed, which means people are trying to
help us at least, move away from the local stage all the way to be skyrocketed to the international scene.
No.
We were doing it on our own already.
Before the festival came, we had films that were already showcasing at the Zanzibari Film Festival, and we already had films that were making it to the Durban Film Festival. I think Divisions and Yogeda moved the mark. Divisions, that's the film that was starring Bobby Wine. I think it came out in 2007. Yeah, it came out in 2007, and Yogeda came slightly after that. And all these films went a mile. Then you look at a film like State Research Bureau by Matt Bish. It won a lot of awards at the Zanzibar International Film Festival, that's ZIF. And
showcasing the carnage in the 1970s.
Yes, and it's still represented, I think, in Durban International Film Festival. And it still went to a certain festival in Germany, which I do not remember at the moment. But we are talking about 2000, this we are talking about between 2007 and I think 2009 or 10. That's way too many years before UCC even probably knew the Uganda film industry existed. And then we had iconic strong films in the country, films like Ngude Monsobi, which was by Osman Matovu. That film had a lot of things I still remember to date. Like there was that scene where he was lifting a body of his dead wife. Like I think the wife had died while giving birth, like in hard situations. And there was, you know, for many memorable films, there's usually that scene that grips you and you kind of don't forget it. Say the scene of Rose and Jack on that board in Titanic when one is freezing and one is trying to survive, like such scenes. So Osman Matovu's scene with his dead body, it's a captivating one in that way. So we've had films before UCC actually existed or knew there was an industry. And then they came when people are still making films.
Did they add anything onto the industry when they
I don't know why people are very obsessed with knowing what UCC has added. Personally, I would say,
what they are mandated.
Personally, I would say technology has added a lot.
I see.
Because with or without UCC, people would have found easier ways of affording cameras, better cameras. With or without UCC, people would have found ways of learning about sound because they were trying to do sound then. People would have taught themselves how to do better cinematography. So like these things would have happened. But yes, UCC has kind of played a role. That role was bringing some sort of competition because people like validation. So when they came with their awards, people felt like, okay, someone is validating us. So that became a competition point of view. People wanted to win.
One would say if UCC did not offer visibility to our, creatives, they did actually do something. They did actually streamline the industry. They actually did organize the industry. Before UCC, we were hearing that the movie industry was existing naturally. There was no legal framework. There was just there existing. But with UCC, there was going to be some kind of framework.
No, that would have happened with or without UCC.
You think?
Yes.
Without a law?
Why? When people start demanding content a lot, they start investing money in it. The moment money comes into an industry, streamlining kind of finds a way of happening. I mean, look at the music industry. There was a time people were dealing with managers without contracts. There was a time people were dealing with promoters without contracts. But since a lot of money came into the industry, say a beer company wants to sign an artist to be their ambassador or something, like contracts started coming in, people started knowing, okay, this is a business, we have to deal like this, we need a lawyer to do this, we need such a contract, this so and so has to get paid. So still I say, and it's not like I'm fighting the body, but for a fact, with or without UCC, the industry would have streamlined itself. The moment there is money to be made, the moment someone is paying money for it, the industry will find a way of streamlining itself.
All right, the film legal framework and organizations like the Collective Management Organization, which is licensed by the Uganda Registration Services Bureau and so forth, are they dampening the resolve of the filmmakers to actually make it in this industry?
The moment...
Copyright and so forth.
At the moment, I do not know if... Okay, I know someone is supposed to be protecting filmmakers. In fact, UPRS was supposed to be protecting filmmakers. But at the time they were very vocal, their focus was mainly on music. Because it was easier. Okay, they thought it was easier. And they thought it was easier to regulate, it was easier to follow up, and somehow they forgot that films exist. And what they did, which was a very big mistake, when they tried to fight for filmmakers, they started looking for libraries that could have pirated Ugandan films, and they were arresting everyone that had Ugandan films but couldn't prove that they had gotten these films, and they were leaving those that had pirated American films or Nigerian films to roam free. Now the danger with that is, you see, you cannot fight piracy on one side. If you're to protect Ugandans, if you're going to fight piracy in a way of protecting a Ugandan filmmaker, you have to fight it across the board. Say you're a pirate, I don't expect you to have American films. I don't expect you to have Nigerian films. In the same way, I don't expect you to have Ugandan films.
And you also understand the only body that helped us phase out all this, it was the Ugandan Communications Commission. Before that, TV stations were not selling local content, Andrew Kagwa. They were showing maybe a Nigerian movie,
and we are talking about an era of...
Until Bubu.
We are talking about an era of UCC, which you're trying to front.
Yes.
At a time when 80% of our local channels are actually streaming foreign films they do not own. Like there is a TV out there that's going to show Red Notice, a film that's owned by Netflix. There's a TV out there that's going to show C, a series that's owned by Apple TV. So like, yeah, they've been vocal about the need for 70%, but they've not walked the talk. It's been a lot of talking, and again, I do not want to sound like I'm fighting them, but this is what's on ground. Like today we have a lot of piracy, to an extent that you talk to some of the personnel in their offices and they will tell you, as long as Disney is not complaining, we do not see why we are going to stop TVY from screening, say, Captain America, whether they own it or not.
Of course, you can also pirate local content. If you're going to streamline or stream, that is Lukman Ali's The Girl in the Yellow Jumper, minus his consent or minus paying him, that would be considered piracy. So let's talk about protecting our filmmakers in this country. Do you think the Collective Management Organization, licensed by URSB, has done its job in pushing or enforcing the copyright law?
I don't think they understand the copyright law as much when it comes to film. I don't think they understand it that much. For instance, I can tell you the mere fact that no one is stopping TVs from pirating is a fact that they actually do not understand, that they have to protect filmmakers the way they protect musicians. So I think the only thing that can be done at the moment, one, we need to see a TV get sued. Personally, Lukman is my friend, but when Girl in a Yellow Jumper premieres, I would just want one TV to risk showing it and they get sued for it.
Thank you. Indeed. All right, before I let you go, what needs to be done to ensure that other movie, directors, the whole value chain within the movie industry actually benefits and is ensured of success, just like Lukman Ali? What needs to be done, especially by the government?
One, the government is not going to help anyone, so I can just talk to filmmakers direct. I mean, the government doesn't even know what to do with the music industry, which is the most, yet music is the most consumed form of art. So I can just talk to a filmmaker, just do a good story, and do not compromise on quality. When it comes to camera work, sound, do not compromise on anything.
Of course, there's a 7.7 billion stimulus package that musicians are clamoring for. We haven't seen movie directors, actors, or the whole value chain clamoring for the same. Why? Are they doing better? Before I let you go, in a minute.
It's not like filmmakers are doing better. It's just that filmmakers are smarter. They do not believe in handouts.
All right, let's leave it at that. That is Andrew Kagwa saying filmmakers are smart, and that's why they are not clamoring for this 7.7 billion stimulus package that the musicians are actually clamoring for. That's it for this conversation. Mr. Mbide is also joining us live for another update.